Deep in the ocean, an orca pod is on the hunt. But these aren't your average orcas. These guys are organized.
Marketing team, did you get those social media posts scheduled for the SEAL migration?
Aye, Captain. We even have an automated notification for all pod managers when they go live.
They use Monday.com to keep their teamwork sharp, their communication clear, and their goals in sight. Monday.com. For whatever you run, even orcas. Go to Monday.com to dive deeper.
Regen auf mein Kopf. Hinten via Deckelbus ist die kleine Fahrt im Top. Geht mir kein Sach nicht.
Welcome to Kill Me Now with Judy Gold. I'm your host, your docile, lovely host, Judy Gold. Today we have on the lovely and delightful Laura Leigh Abby. I hope you enjoy it. And I just want to say the sudden loss of Bob Saget has really affected the comedy community. And I think a lot of people, and he will be missed, and he was a bright, bright light. So take a moment to laugh today, and I hope you do right now. Enjoy.
Everyone, we are here with Laura Leigh Abby, and it is our first of 2020.
2022. 2020.
What did I say? 2020?
2020.
Oh, God.
Because it feels like the same year is on loop, right?
All right. I'm just going to start this way. I just want to say, when I was born in 1962, I remember thinking, oh, my God, in 1992, I'm going to be 30 years old. Like, I remember, oh my God, it's so far away, and then in 2002, I'm going to be 40 years. I can't believe I'm going to be 60 years old this year. I feel like, well, Elisa just turned 60. We had a huge surprise party for, it wasn't huge because it was COVID, but it was a little surprise party for her. And I told her, and you'll probably go through this too, Laura, that she's 60 and she's way too old for me, and I have to find a young girlfriend.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
I hear that. It's time.
I mean, I'm in showbiz. I can't have a 60-year-old girlfriend.
No. You're going to have to go like 25 cutoff.
Yeah, because I love speaking to 25-year-olds. They have a lot to say.
So much in common.
Right. Okay, so today, everyone, Laura Leigh Abby is a writer. She's written for every major newspaper, online, magazine, Cosmo. I mean, many, many beautiful articles. She has written a book, 2 books? 1 book.
One's an Amazon Kindle single. So
Amazon
what is
Kindle
that really?
single. Whatever. Just call it a book, you goddamn son of a bitch.
It's a fucking book.
Right. And she is married to the love of her life, Sam, whose full name is Samantha. So she's a member of our tribe. And then she has 2 beautiful sons. But we'll get into all this later. Let's start at the very beginning. Laura, I do a lot of research on my guests. That's what the podcast basically, it's called Kill Me Now because I hate everyone and I want to kill myself all the time, but which we'll get to at the end.
Yeah.
What makes you want to fucking kill yourself? But I'm not really allowed to say that anymore because of, I can't say that anymore, but whatever, fuck it. I love what makes people who they are, which is usually their childhood and all the things they've gone through. And so what you have done, which is fascinating to me, is you have taken your diary that you wrote in every day. Now, I just want to say, because it's the beginning of January, that I remember I had a diary when I was a little girl. I think I was maybe 10-ish. And I remember it was dated, and I remember I was waiting until my birthday's in November, was waiting till January 1st to write my first entry. And I didn't know what to say, so and I don't know if Laura's listening, that's our producer. But I am going to admit something that I've never admitted, that I copied a little bit of Anne Frank's diary.
No.
For the first entry. Like just a little bit, like I plagiarized. It was only like 2 lines, but it was like, oh, today, I don't even remember what it was, but it was so, I didn't even know what to say. So I was like, and like, how Jewy, that gets an extra Jew bell.
That's so Jewy.
So you've taken your diary, and we're going to talk about this ad nauseum because it's fascinating to me for one reason, is that I would never want to revisit my teenage years. But you have taken this and you've started this podcast called 17. And you have actors read portions of your diary, and then you discuss and sort of go back. I mean, I listened to a portion where you interviewed a guy who you thought was like in love with you.
Yeah.
And you had feelings for, and you're revisiting all this as an adult, which I think is scary. For me, it would be scary. I also think it would probably give me a new perspective, and it would probably resolve a lot of recurring dreams that I have. But I mean, that's a brilliant idea, I have to say.
I wish I could take full credit for the idea. There's a French version of the podcast that was really popular over in France. So I'm excited to kind of recreate it here for an English-speaking audience. And yeah, you know, I think after college, I tried to start a blog that was like when everyone was blogging, where I would revisit these journal entries from when I was share journal entries from when I was a teenager. And I think I was still too young and too close to them. And now, you know, I'm 36. I have 2 kids. My life is just like, it's exhausting. It's just parenting. It's parenting, right? So there's like a real lack of urgency that is in like every entry when you're a teenager. Everything is so loaded, every experience. And like, you're waiting for your life to begin. And so you're acting like none of this is a big deal because it's not even your real life. But at the same time, it's all just shaping who you are. Right. So all of these experiences are so big. So I think it's so intense to put it out into the world and to share it. And
I mean, as a comic, that's what I do, period.
Right. You share your shit. So
right. But it's like, this is like, you know, I cloak it in humor. But I mean, you grew up, let's just say you grew up in Setauket. Is that right?
Yeah. Very close to Setauket. You got it.
Setauket, New York, which is in Long Island.
Long Island, I'm an islander.
I can't find anything about your siblings. I fucking looked everywhere.
Yeah, my family, we're just like boring, regular people. So I'm everyone's really impressed that I'm just like airing all of our laundry all the time.
Yeah, that's good though.
That's not what I come from.
I know, but you need one person to do it. So how many siblings do you have?
I'm the youngest of 3. I have
me too.
And a sister. Nice.
Me too.
Yes.
And
it's great.
And you have parents.
I have parents. Mom and dad.
What are their names? Because I couldn't find that anywhere. First of all, even in your New York Times wedding thing, it doesn't have your parents' names.
Really? Okay, so we had a wedding announcement that should have their names.
Right. Andrew and Irene. I love Irene. You know what? Let me tell you something. Elisa has one of her best friends' name is Irene, and we call her Tango Irene. From Rent, it's Tango Maureen, and so we call her Tango. All right, whatever. Go ahead.
Now that's in my head. Yeah, my mom's like Massapequa, Long Island, like thick Long Island accent. Irene. It's really good. It's good stuff.
And what did they do? I never have to ask this. I can usually figure it out, but I couldn't fucking figure it out.
What did they do? My dad worked for Estee Lauder my whole life, so I always had really fabulous makeup and skincare. My mom worked for Clinique for a while. She worked at the local grocery store for a while. She's all over the place.
So you had this normal Long Island.
So normal, painfully normal.
Grammar school, like growing up.
Yeah, so we did, when I was 4, we moved to Canada for 6 years.
Oh, that's right. For 6 years, you moved to Ontario. And you have dual citizenship, correct?
I'm a dual citizen, yeah.
You know what? I'm a little jealous.
Which I was like, Mom, if I wanted to like move to Canada, do I even have a citizenship card somewhere? I don't know.
I know, but do you understand how lucky you are that you have that?
I like that my parents like knew way back when, even though we're only living here for a few years, like we're going to make our kids dual citizens because this is a smart move.
How come you moved to Canada?
My dad's job. There was a plant, an Estee Lauder plant up there. I'm butchering this. I hope he's not going to listen because you got it all wrong.
Just for his job. So you moved there.
Work. Yeah.
Do you remember being in Canada and them all having like talking a little weird? And I mean, your mother has this fucking thick Long Island accent. And then you're
could not get enough of her there. They would just make her say like, say coffee again, say dog. Like they thought she was the greatest. I was little, I was 4. So I didn't sound like anything. But when we actually moved back to New York, they made fun of me a little bit because I had that proper Canadian
Right.
speech.
You know how they sort of like have an up thing at the end.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's like, oh, and I can't, at the end of the sentence, it's like, I don't know. Did they don't speak French there?
They do.
They do?
We all had to learn French in school, but they spoke, in Ontario.
Do you remember French?
Yes. I was in French through high school and then I lost it all, in college and after
I know. What the fuck is that?
I don't know. It's so bad
it's so annoying.
Let that happen.
I know. I had 6 years of Spanish and then
gone.
Yeah. And then I can't even talk whatever. Okay. So you go to Canada. Everything's normal. Was there a difference between Canadian school? Do you remember coming back? So when you came back, you were 10, right?
I was thrown to the wolves. Yeah. It was going from Canada. I was in this nice Catholic school. Everyone knew everyone. We lived in these developments where all the houses were just like the same size. Right. You just rode your bike everywhere. And then I moved to this kind of like a wealthier town on Long Island and the kids are
spoiled.
Intense,
yes.
And they're so much more mature. And they were just, I went from being a kid to, I entered 5th grade on Long Island.
I know. So that's like,
we're acting like adults. Yeah.
Right. So you're going to like middle school, you're thrown, which is the worst fucking time of your life.
It was not cute. Yeah.
Do you still have friends from when you were in Canada?
I keep in touch with a couple people. Yeah. Kind of. So we message each other and we chat about stuff. And there's one, she's always like, what's going on? Is the US really as scary as it sounds right now? I'm like, yes, it is.
Oh my God. It's so scary. I know whatever. I'm jealous.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Visit Progressive.com to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states or situations.
So you then go into middle school. I don't know if you know that I'm 6'2".
I do. I'm 5'11".
I know. That's why I wanted to talk to you about it. But I'm shrinking. I have to get my knee replaced. So I had the surgery on the books, and then I had to fucking change it, which sucks. No. I know, and I just want to get it over with. And then I'm going to come to your fucking studio, and you're going to fucking work me out. All right. Anyway, you were in the Key Club, which I never understood. I read that you were in the Key Club. I was in the band. We have something in common besides being really tall, is that when I was in 7th grade, I was probably about 5'9". I was already taller than the teachers and a lot of my friends' parents. Not that I had a bunch of friends, but the people at synagogue were like, "Oh, this is a tall fan." Anyway, and I tried out for the basketball team, and this is a real story. And the coach told me that I was too tall, and it wouldn't be fair to the other players.
Do you feel like that was a load of bullshit?
This is what happened. Laura Leigh Abby. Like those things that happen to you at that age stay with you for the rest of your fucking life, right?
They do.
And I had a lot of rejection growing up there. That's why, I'm a comedian, because I like to let it keep it going. But anyway,
yeah, of course. I
do think it was a lot of bullshit. There was a bit of anti-Semitism in even though there were a lot of Jewish kids, there were sort of, I don't know if this guy was but there were anti-Semitic teachers and stuff. But yeah, so he told me I was too tall. And then many years later on Facecock, which I fucking hate, the one of the teachers or coaches, like the football coach or something from our school, was friending me. And it's like, you are like redoing your fucking high school years. And I'm like, get the fuck away from me. And so one of the coaches, he said something to me, and I said, because I remember, Wayne Carrick, his name was.
I'm out.
And he said, you're too tall for the team. By the time I was 13, I was 6 feet tall. So fuck him. And, he said, this football coach said, he really regrets that. And I'm like, I'm 50, 8 at this point, 7, 5, 55. He regrets it. Fuck him.
Yeah, that's his shit. Don't make me deal with that.
And he never said, I'm sorry. But that shit stays with you for the rest of your life. Cut to my son, Ben, plays basketball in college. Okay, he plays college basketball. He was D1. He just moved to D3 because he hated D1. But anyway,
well, I've never had any athletic prowess whatsoever, and it's hard. And this being a tall girl growing up, because I went to
everyone,
every male teacher was like, "Are you trying out for basketball? What do you play?" I'm like, I play nothing. I'm bad at all the things. Back off.
Right. I'm a little uncoordinated, but I'm really not, because I play tennis. And I would take my kids to play. We had a basketball court in our driveway, so I played all the time. But with proper training, I think I would have excelled. I'm very athletic, but that was it. That was the end of it. That was the end. And same thing, high school. Oh, and even the girls who were on the basketball team were like, "What the fuck are you doing, Judy? You got to be, Come on, we Judy. Need you. We need you, Judy." And I was like, I don't know. It's really it's like something that says, so you tried out. Can you tell the story?
Oh God.
Where you tried out for the volleyball. Well, you really wanted to play volleyball.
I
correct?
really wanted to play volleyball. I had never, besides gym class, I'd never had any I didn't really know how to play volleyball. So,
right.
But my school, the girls volleyball team was a big deal. Like they won. I don't even know. I don't know. I'm going to prove how little I know about sports. They were great. And so it was really hard to get on that team. And yeah, so I tried out and I went through all these intense days of tryouts. And there was this one assistant coach who was he was really nice to me and he was really helping me out. So I was like, okay, maybe being tall, he's going to see something in me and know that I can learn and I can improve. And I didn't make the team. And I was so upset, as you would be. I was disappointed. And so I know what you want me to tell is how my mom couldn't bear to see her child upset and just had to step in. This is 9th grade. How old was I? How old are you in 9th grade? 14, 15?
You're 14, yeah.
14. And I want her to stay the F out of my life. And instead she calls the coach and is like, Laura put off foot surgery because she wanted to try out for the team. She's so devastated. Can't you, oh my God, I can't even believe I'm telling you this. Can't you, give her a spot or have her train with the girls and maybe she'll improve? And I had no idea any of this, that she did this. And so after school one day, there was an announcement that I have to go to the gym and it's the coach and all the girls.
Wait, is this an announcement? I don't think kids realize that there was a PA system.
Like a PA.
Where the entire school will hear Judith Gold, please report to blank. Everyone in the fucking school. Yeah.
Correct. So now everyone has heard me and I'm like, what the hell is going on? And then you get this little spark of what's happening? And he calls me into his office and all the volleyball girls are there and they're just kind of eyeing me. And he just so awkwardly, he's like a middle-aged man. I'm a teenage girl.
Right.
Is telling me how he heard that I put off this foot surgery and maybe I can train with the team, kind of be, what is it, like the ball boy or something, like the team manager or something like that.
Oh my God.
I immediately know what's going on. I'm horrified. I am just burning inside.
Right. Because you had no idea that your mother did this.
And now, like, the second he starts talking to me, I know who.
Right.
Who made this happen. And the girls are all just staring at me and it is so awkward. And I want to crawl into a hole and die. And I was like, let me think about it. I got the hell out of there. Never returned again. And like, I remember being so mad at my mom, but also she was just such an emotional, like, I just wanted to help, but you were so sad. And I was like, I can't even be mad at you. You're not even letting me be mad at you for doing this stupid, horrific thing to humiliate me. And so,
well, she didn't know she was going to humiliate you.
I mean, come on, stay out of, but I mean, that was a big lesson for me now that I have little kids, but
I know, I was just thinking,
I'm gonna have to stay out of their shit.
I know. And you're gonna want to intervene.
I'm gonna want to so bad.
My mother was the same way. I'm sure I've told this story, but when I was doing one of my off-Broadway shows, one-person show, I got this great review, rave in the New York Times, but my hometown paper in New Jersey did not give me a good review. What? And I was at a photo shoot and the PR person came over and was like, Judy, I need to talk to you. And I'm like, what? Apparently your mother called the reviewer of the Star Ledger and left this is before cell phones and stuff, and left a voicemail, and he's not calling her back. He's not calling her back. She can't call reviewers if they give you a bad review. So I called my mother and I said, Ma, you can't call reviewers if they give me a bad review. That's their thing. Well, let me tell you something. At the end of his review, it says, if you have any questions or comments, you can call me at, and it gave his phone number. And, I had to listen to his opinion. And he can listen to mine. And if he doesn't want people calling him, he shouldn't put his phone. And I was like, how can you fucking argue with that?
You cannot.
You can't argue with that. And it comes from fucking love. And I told this at her funeral, because it is my favorite. It so encapsulates that your kid is not going to be hurt by, you can be hurt by me, but you're not going to be hurt,
Right.
So you walked around high school like I did. Like I don't think people realize being a tall girl, it really has such a profound effect on your personality because you can't hide. You can't, what's that thing where you in the woodwork, you can't fade into I don't know, I can't think because I've already been through menopause. But you can't fade into the woodwork. Like and I don't know if this happens to you. I walk in an elevator and people are like looking at my feet to see if I'm wearing like 7-inch heels. But now I have a 6'7.5" son who, I'm like, whoa, you wait till you see. Do you think your sons will be really tall?
I don't know. I mean, I hope. I gave birth to one of them, so the other is on his own. He might be a shorty like my wife, but
yeah, because
I'm hoping.
I want you to know that basketball coaches ask how tall the mother is.
Oh yeah,
yeah. That they always say how tall is your mother, which is great for a kid with two moms. Anyway, but seeing my son grow up as the tallest kid, athletic, funny, it was a completely different,
height is celebrated for guys. Right. And for women, we're just kind of, especially in this country, we're taught to just like close up and be quiet and demure. And so when you're a really tall girl, you already off the bat feel like you're taking up too much space in the world. And I'm a loudmouth and
same.
You're a loudmouth. And so I remember being like, oh, I'm too much always feeling I was too much. I can't be this tall. I can't be this opinionated. And it's tough, especially in adolescence, to to come to terms with that. And, you eventually reach an age where I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I am too much. Maybe I'm not for you. So what?
But it's also like people think, I don't know if you went through this, but people thought I was older than I was.
Yeah. Which is fun until you are older and then you're like, damn it.
Right. Because I remember when I was like, they used to have kids prices for the movies, and I would go and they'd be like, you're not 12. And I'm like, and my mother was like, yeah, I'm getting a copy of your birth certificate. And you're gonna go to the movie theater. And I'm like, Mom, I'm not going to the movie theater with my birth certificate. It's already fucking embarrassing. But yeah, people treat you differently as if you're not as sensitive. Right? You're not as, you're tougher. But also this idea that is the first thing people see. That is the first thing people comment about. And it's so crazy. Like if someone is obese, you don't say, oh, wow, you're obese, you're fat. You're tall. It's like, oh, you're hairy. No, it's so, I don't know. It's such a weird thing that sort of definitely
that people just get to comment on and have an opinion on openly to your face all the time. Yeah.
Do people still say stuff to you? People say stuff to me all the time.
Yeah.
It's funny when I get off stage and people are like, oh, I didn't realize you were that tall. I'm like, really? Yeah. You didn't realize I was that tall? The guy on before me came up to my fucking left hip. What size shoe were you?
10.
I don't feel sorry for you. Okay, I'm a 12 and a half.
Oh, I have a friend who's 5'4" and she's a size 10. So
no way. What the fuck is that?
That's rough for her. That's not fair.
That's not good. Does she look like, weird?
She looks gorgeous and perfect.
Oh, right. I don't know why. That's horrible.
Yeah. So as much as I only hate having a big foot because sometimes it's hard to find shoes.
Hello? I'm a 12 and a half. Okay.
No.
Yes.
That's real hard.
That's right.
Well,
so
all I wear now are like sneakers and boots. So who cares?
Yeah, same. Now, your friend who's 5'4" and has a 10. All right. This is going to be the most immature joke ever. I'm just doing a warning. So your friend who's 5'4" and has a size 10 shoe, does she have a large penis? Good night, folks. Okay. Okay.
This week's episode of It's Judy's Show with Judy Gold is sponsored by BetterHelp. And if you know me, which I think you do because you're listening to my podcast right now, you know that I am a big advocate for therapy. I think it benefits everyone. I think there's so many people who need it, who don't partake. It is so important for your emotional health and well-being. Therapy is fantastic. It is in every stretch of the imagination. And if you're thinking of starting therapy, please do it. But please give BetterHelp a try. It is entirely online. It's designed to be convenient. It's flexible. It suits your schedule. You fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. I have switched therapists in my life. I've had many, many therapists, and sometimes it's not a great fit for you, but don't give up. Therapy is beneficial. You can learn about yourself. You can process and just be emotionally healthy. I'm telling you, do it. BetterHelp is great because, when I used to schlep to my therapist's office, it was so annoying. You have to do it and you sit there and you wait. And then I'm telling you, doing it online is fantastic. And BetterHelp is amazing. I know a lot of people who've used it. So if you're thinking about therapy, go to BetterHelp.com. Let the gratitude flow. This is Gratitude Month, people. So you need to let the gratitude flow with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/JudyGold, JudyGold, today, and you will get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/JudyGold. You're welcome.
You graduate high school, but everything's normal in high school, except we're going to go back to that because that's what the podcast is.
Yes.
and you go to the college that I really wanted to go to and my parents wouldn't let me go to.
Oh, why not?
Because when I went to college in 1980, Rutgers, where is my state school, was $2,500 a semester.
There you go.
And they were like, you know, if you want to go to graduate school, fine. And I was like, I have to go to Emerson. I don't even know why I wanted to go to Emerson College, but
that's how I felt. I was like, I have to go there. They're going to get me there.
I'm like, and it wasn't even, it wasn't what it is today, you know, but a lot of comics entered. I would have had a whole different experience. But so you went to Emerson and you're feeling a little lonely at a place, whatever. And you join a sorority.
Yeah. So I always kind of like to, like a little asterisk, like at Emerson, joining a sorority wasn't like joining a sorority at any other school, because Emerson College, when I went there, and I love this about Emerson, it's just like, you know, the joke was gay by May or your money back. Like guys went there with girlfriends and then, you know, they came out. And so it was just like gay musical theater and so many weird kids, which I loved. I was a weird kid, but also sometimes I just wanted to get drunk and like go make out with boys at parties. And so I was like, who am I doing that with? And so there was a sorority, and that was kind of the answer to that.
So you like, it's interesting you say that you had like this normal childhood upbringing, didn't even think you were gay at all. And you end up like, don't you think it's weird that you picked that school?
Yes.
Not having any consciousness of, oh, this is the place, you know, like, why do I want to go to the school with all these oddballs?
I think I wanted, you know, I wanted a gay best friend and wanted the artsy experience. I wanted to be something I wasn't. I'm not, you know, I don't belong in academia or any of that. So
but you were in the Key Club. What is the fucking Key Club? It's the Kiwanis Club. And first of all, they didn't even allow women until 1987. So
really?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I was co-president of Key Club in high school with Jess Auerkirk. Shout out to her. We basically did philanthropy.
Yeah, that's what they do. Yeah.
That's what we did. Yeah. And we would have to go to the like monthly Kiwanis meetings where we would have to go have dinner at some local restaurant
Kiwanis Club.
Kiwanis Club. It was so awkward. Yeah, it was weird. But they were.
Were you in any other clubs?
I was on Yearbook, only because I wanted to make sure pictures of my friends and I got in. Right. But yeah, no, I didn't. I was in Key Club and I hung out with my friends and I worked a lot because I had a fun job. And
what'd you do? What was your job?
I worked at a country club. I talk about this a lot on the podcast. It was a tennis and beach club, and they did a lot of weddings, and it was, you know, the wealthier community over by the water. And we just got into a lot of shenanigans over there because there was so much alcohol and just had a good time.
Oh my God. I love that. We're going to talk about that. So anyway, you get into your, I didn't even know Emerson had sororities. You joined the sorority. What was the name of the sorority?
First I was rejected.
Why?
Yeah, I rushed and did not make it in, but because I am who I am, I just rushed again.
So it's volleyball revisited.
I have no shame, apparently. I had no dignity. I just keep going back.
How do you not get in? Like, that's so fucking horrible.
Fuck those girls. I'm awesome. I don't know what their problem was.
Wait, what does it mean to rush? Like, I know both of my older son was in a fraternity, and I heard stories that I really wish I had never heard. Not like secret shit, but like, you know, just the shit they did. You know, it's like, I'm rushing. I gotta go clean the whole house out. I gotta go there. And I'm like, I gotta drive this kid to his. And I'm like, you're supposed to be in school. You're not like a fucking servant. Yeah.
It was so stupid. I look back and I'm like, why did we let them treat us that way? This is ridiculous. So Rush is basically just a week of they throw parties. Like, you know, everyone in college loves to throw a wine and cheese party. Like, we're fucking adults. Lots of wine and cheese. But
it's shitty wine and shitty cheese.
Shitty wine, shitty cheese. And you just get to know the sisters. And then if they want you, they give you a bid in this secret ceremony. And then you become a pledge. Right. So I didn't get a bid my first semester, but my new best friend at school and another couple of friends got bids. So they pledged that semester. And so the next semester they were like, you should rush again. You'll definitely get a bid this time. And so I did.
And you did it. And you feel, oh my God, this is what I like. I like hanging out with all these girls and talking and and you meet this girl, Samantha.
Yes. So I don't know how much of this I'm allowed. I always feel bad when I tell these stories because she's not here to defend herself because she was a little shit when I met her. So my first semester of my sophomore year, she showed up at, I was a sister by then. So I thought I was so cool. And she showed up at the first Rush meeting of the year.
And you were her big sister.
I became her big sister. Yeah, I did by accident, I think. She just kind of turned my world upside down.
So the way you describe it in a lot of your articles is that, which I love, it's like you're uncomfortable, like you can't make eye contact because it's too intense. You're like, it's so hard for you. Like you want to be around her, but she makes you crazy. And you're having all these feelings that you never had.
Never had. And honestly, I feel bad for people who live their whole life closeted, but at least they know they're feeling that way. For me, those feelings came out of nowhere and I didn't know what the hell to do with them.
How is, like, as someone who, like, I knew when I was like 3, I was like, what's going on? And the struggle that horrible struggle through, in adolescence, you realize, and then high school, you're like, oh my God. And, I'm talking about I went to high school in 1976. So no, you could not even, never tell anyone, like horrible, people didn't talk about it. Yeah. There was no representation on television, up until the AIDS crisis. People really,
it was just hush
hush.
It.
Yeah, it was very hush hush. So here you are, not even entertaining the thought that you might be a leslie, and you see it. You see this person, and boom.
Yeah, it was, and it's funny too because I look back, I'm like, oh my God, why was this so tumultuous for you? But obviously, it was. I was young. These were new feelings. And even at Emerson, I was in this sorority. It was just like straight girls, boy crazy. And I grew up in this just like white, straight, heteronormative town. My high school, I went to a huge high school. I could maybe knew 1 or 2 gay people, and they were always the stereotypical gay guy who, got like the kids made fun of him, but he had his girlfriends who hung around him.
Right.
And so this was just not on my radar, didn't know what to do with it. And it was one of those things where I was like, if I do this, can you ever take it back? Like I didn't know. And didn't know how to label it, didn't know what to do with it. It took me years and years and years until I finally was like, oh, I'm bisexual. This is great. I'm allowed to be attracted to whoever the fuck I want. But back then it just didn't feel that way. Cause I was like, I've never liked another girl. I don't know if I ever will. Why is this person affecting me in this way? And what do I do about it? And it was terrifying and I wouldn't tell anybody. So there's of course lying and
and shame. And it's also like the fact that this is what, 20?
It's like 2004.
So this is like 25 years after I'm dealing with it. And there's still that I can't tell anyone.
Yeah.
And you just know. It's not even that someone says, don't ever tell anyone. It's that you just know.
You feel it. Yeah.
Right.
And even, the early 2000s, I get into a lot of this in the podcast. It was really misogynistic time. Like the movies, everything was bullshit. There was so much homophobia. As much as it's like, oh, we've come a long way. We still hadn't. It still wasn't, there still weren't a lot of queer characters in movies and on TV that were represented well.
Oh my God. It was always a joke. Yeah. But it was like, I came out on stage in 96 and because that was when my son was born, I came out as a gay parent. Cause I was like, I'm a comic and and it definitely had an effect on my career, but I don't fucking care. I don't give a shit. So, imagine how you felt and I'm on stage, like I'm doing TV and saying I'm a lesbian and I'm talking about my gay family. And if you really think about it, 2015 is when we really gained, equality federally. That's not even 6 years ago.
I know. I know. I was married in 2013 and I'm like, that wasn't even our marriage wasn't even federally recognized. Like,
and before that, like in the late 90s, I remember when Henry went to kindergarten, and the forms in school were like mother, father, mother, father.
They're still that way. It's so infuriating.
Not in New York City.
Forms.
No, you have to fight for it. I what's her name? Christine Quinn helped me. She was the Speaker of the House. And I said, what, you got to put, and especially after 2001, you can't put mother, father. Sorry. People lost their parents, and people have different family structures.
Parent guardian one, parent guardian two. This is very easy.
That's it. Yeah. You need to fight for that right now.
Yep.
Every time you encounter that, every time at a doctor's office.
Oh, I always cross out like father at the doctor's office. I write donor. That's a big one. People using dad or father. I'm like, words donor, very easy. Easy word.
I'm sending you this article I wrote when Ben got his tonsils out that they now use for doctors treating, children of gays.
Not to jump off into a different direction, but my oldest son had open heart surgery when he was 2, and the staff at the hospital were all great. And then this random woman came to walk my wife and I into the ER, and she gets my wife like in her hat and her suit and the mask and the whole thing. And she's just ignoring me. And I'm like, can I have one of those? And then my wife's hysterical because she always gets to be the hysterical one putting our son into surgery. And this woman's like elbowing me out of the way. And I'm like, I'm his fucking biological mother, first of all, but we are both like, what? It was on top of the fact that my baby was having fucking open heart surgery. It was so insane that I was being treated this way. And I was just like, everyone else here knows that we are his moms, and you are just elbowing me out like I'm her random friend that she brought into the OR. Like,
right. I know. That's, I've told this story before, but when Sharon, my ex, gave birth, it was a emergency C. And when we got to the hospital, the nurse and the delivery nurse recognized me and said, and this is 96, and gave me a thing on my wrist, and it's like, I'm going to take care of you because it's not going to be easy. And she sort of, thank God, Alice Feely, I love you. She's the one who made sure I was there. I was there during the C, but there were like, who is this? Why are you here? And the fact that still happens 20 plus years later is not acceptable. Okay. No. So let's go back. So you're in love. You have 2 sons. You married your sorority sister, which is probably so many guys jerking off to this
so fucking,
like, they were sorority sisters in the, and you both had, through your relationship, broken up, gotten, and let's just tell the folks listening that you never came out to your mother because you were so upset about your relationship had been broken up, was one of the times you broke up, and you were on the porch and you were like, I just have to tell you. And
I love her and she broke my heart.
Right. And your mother was like, oh, I think I'll call the volleyball coach. No, what did she? I can't believe she didn't call her and was like, you take her back. No, but what, but that was how you told your mother.
Yeah. I always wrote in my journals. I didn't talk to my parents about anything ever growing up. And so I called my parents. Sam and I, our whole relationship, it was like a sorority lesbian love triangle. Like there was shit going on. And I felt insane. I just felt completely insane. So it was like heartbreak on top of, am I gay? On top of the girl I'm in love with just hooked up with my friends. Like, is everybody alive? It was a mess. And so I remember calling my parents and being like, I need to come home. I think I need therapy. Like, I just have too much shit going on. And so I went home that weekend, and so they were just kind of waiting for me to tell them like, just like, what's going on with you? And so I sat out on the front porch with my mom and just kind of gave her the basics of what had happened. And she was very supportive, hugged me and let me just cry. But I know that she was freaking out.
Right.
Freaking out. And then I didn't really talk to my dad about it. I was like, she'll handle that.
Right.
And they paid for me to go to therapy, and off I went back to school.
So
we didn't really talk too much about it.
You went to therapy in Boston, right? Not.
Yeah, I found a great therapist. She was wonderful.
Why wouldn't I go? Like, I wish I went to a sorority and there was a triangle of lesbian love.
Yeah, except when you're the one that feels like you're getting hurt.
I know. Yeah.
Sam was just having a great time, hooking up with all the girls.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for listening to part 1 of Kill Me Now with Laura Leigh Abby. Kill Me Now is produced by Laura Vogel, edited by Colin Schmaling. This podcast, nor my life, would not be possible without the help, love, and dedication of Brittany Jo Sowards. If you have not subscribed or left a review, you're a fucking asshole. So please go do it. It helps more people find the podcast. 5 stars. I'm just letting you know, my Uber rating is definitely going up because I'm being really nice in the Ubers. So 5 stars means a lot. But I do get shitty cars a lot of the time because I think I have a shitty rating. But it's getting better. Anyway, if you haven't purchased my book, yes, I can say that when they come for the comedians, we're all in trouble. You're an idiot. Because you're listening to my podcast, you should read my book. You know what I'm saying? Also, I am now on TikTok. Yes, I'm on TikTok because I caved. And my kids told me I had to. So I'm on TikTok. So check me out on TikTok. It's like it's the same name, at Judy Gold, JEWDYGOLD. Same name as, what are they called? The Twitter, the Instagram. And I'm Jewish, and that's why it's JWDY. God, I'm funny. Tuesday, January 19th, I will be at Gotham Comedy Club at Homo Comicus, which, as you can imagine, is a show for the gays and gay lovers and homos and their people. Check that out if you're in the New York City area and you're not afraid to go out. Also, I just want to say, I can't wait till this fucking COVID shit is over. I can't take it. I can't take it anymore. So please, if you're not boosted, get fucking boosted. If you are like an asshole non-masker, if you're any of those things, I'm sure you're not listening to this podcast, but just wear a mask. Don't be like, oh, I don't have to wear a mask. And don't wear a cloth mask. Wear the fucking, KN9595, KN N95 N59, whatever. If it has a number on it and an N, wear it. And I think that's it. I can't believe you're still listening. Whoever's still listening, I love you so much. I can't even tell you. And that's it. I hope you have a great week. And as we always say, so long!